Stop reviewing you sensitivity ass writing. Hey yo, I am Scotty Mills of New York Getting McPrick, and today I'm going to be going over the movie Coda and my top 5 Hulu originals. But first, I just showed you a video of a cat falling off a balcony at a goddamn football game. Now, nobody understands how all these cats get into these games. But what matters is, those people at that game took out an American flag and let that cat fall right into America's heart and saved that cat. Held that like Simba. Now, I mention this because I guarantee you those people woke up that day, thought they were going to go to the football game, get super up, and at halftime go to the women's restroom, get a handy by a girl that works at the hot dog stand. But instead, they saved that cat. They did something worthwhile. They did something so selfless, okay? Selfless. Be selfless. Do something good. When someone needs help or a cat needs help, because honestly, cats sometimes are better than humans, save them, no matter what it is. Now, before I get into Coda real quick, if you like this, like it. If you don't like it, hit the thumbs down. Comment if you like it. Comment if you hate it, please. And also share it if you think I'm an arrogant, ignorant prick, or if you really do like what I'm saying. Because all I try to do is open eyes and make people ask questions. And you know what? Coda opened my eyes. Okay? It showed me that movies can still just be movies. Now, it's about a young girl, teenage girl, Ruby, right? She's born into a deaf family. She's the only one who can hear. She works as an interpreter for her dad, her mom, and her brother. And her brother and her dad, they're fishermen, right? She wakes up at the crack of dawn every day, and she helps them answering calls, selling the fish on the pier, like that. But she really loves to sing. That's her passion, okay? She doesn't want to do this for the rest of her life. So she's insecure, man. She's insecure. She's afraid of failure. So what does she do? She joins choir. She meets a guy named Mr. V, okay? I can't say his whole name because he said if you don't roll your R's, don't say his name. So I'll just say Mr. V. And Mr. V, honestly, to me, he's the backbone of this entire movie. He's her spirit guide. He really showed her that despite your situation, despite your efforts to succeed and you end up failing, you can always push through and become a better person and follow through on what you love, because that's what it's all about. Now, this movie is based off of a La Familia Belliere, like that, okay? It's a French movie. And what did we do, right? We did what Americans do best. We take a movie from a foreign country, we bring it back to the States, slap in some American actors, and bam, we got another movie, right? Look, usually I hate that shit. I hate when they do that, okay? It's unoriginal. But this time, I gave it a pass. I gave this one a pass because I thought the director did an amazing job, and the acting was just phenomenal. All right, that's just hands down. You cannot argue with that. That's a fact. So if you hate me for that one, you can yourself. Now, I really did love this movie, and to me, the movie was about family and communication barrier, right? Because Ruby, she can talk. She can talk and she can hear. So there's this really huge communication barrier between her and her family, and it's understandable, right? Now, I can harp on all the characters. I really can, but that take forever, and I'd lose your interest, and honestly, I'd ruin the movie because I'm not here to do a real review. Okay, I'm here to tell you to do this, and I'm giving you the reasons why. And here's 2 of my reasons. One, Mr. V, like I mentioned before, he is the backbone of this. He is her spirit guide. And he did and said a lot of things that I think viewers should really take into account and kind of reflect on their own life, okay? Because I've met so many people in this world, and I've been around, man. I'm only 25, but I've been in the Navy. I've been around the world, and a lot of people I've met have just been so afraid to do something with their life. That's why a lot of people in the military, they just stay there, okay? I couldn't do that. I could not do that. I hated that. I knew that I had to get off my ass and do something. I knew that I didn't want to stay in a situation I was unhappy, and that's what Mr. V told her. Now, it's not that she didn't like her family. She loves her family because family is family, but she doesn't want to be a fisherman. She doesn't want to be an interpreter for the rest of her life, and there's nothing wrong with that, and Mr. V showed her that, and he also helped her parents and her family understand that too, through her. Now, that's why he's one of my favorite characters, Mr. V, okay? He really pushed everybody. He pushed Ruby, and Ruby pushed her family. Now, one of the biggest people that she pushed, I think, is most vital to the entire storyline, is Jackie, her mother, okay? And Jackie, she's riddled with insecurity and mainly the inability to understand why Ruby loves to sing, why she wants to do this, why she wants to leave and do her own life. And that all stems back to the relationship between Jackie and Ruby's grandmother, who was a hearing person, okay? And she was afraid that if Ruby was born with the ability to hear, that she would have that same communication barrier that she had with her own mother, and that her and Ruby would never have a working mother-daughter relationship, because that's all she wanted. It's her baby. Now, Jackie is so cold towards Ruby, okay? She really is. And honestly, It's just misunderstanding. There's nothing wrong with that. She does not understand her daughter, okay? This movie is about family drama. The emotion in it is real, okay? It's raw. That's why I like it. It really is hard for me to find an indie movie that I like because all they do is just shove this liberal-ass agenda of inclusion and society and LGBTQ and race down our throats, and they water it down. They make the movie so unrealistic and so unwatchable. So if you go watch this movie because you think it's progressive or inclusive, okay, and you don't want to be looked at as prejudice and now say that you understand the deaf community, you probably are prejudiced and you're a piece of shit. This movie is about love. It's about family. It's about drama. It's about music. It's a story. Okay, this is life. That's why I love this movie. Now, they make you feel so connected into this world, and not just with the characters. Even though the characters were written awesome, I think the acting really portrayed the writing so well. But sometimes when I watch a movie, I do want to get lost in a fantasy, into a world that's not mine, right? Because that's what movies sometimes are supposed to do. But sometimes I just want to watch a movie where I can connect with people, connect with someone else's reality, so that way I feel like I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who feels a certain way. And just because you're not deaf does not mean you cannot connect to these characters, right? Movies are meant to be emotion, are meant to connect and make you feel deep and make you feel a good way, certain way. And they did a really great job, especially with the cinematography. Even though it's simple, there are a lot of wide angles, and you really see the world they live in, which just makes you immersed even more. And also the lighting. Every time she's talking about music or she's singing, the lighting gets brighter, and it really shows the passion she has inside of her that wraps around her beautiful soul. Now, they did do a test in the deaf community with this movie, and a lot of people did really think that it was a really good representation because it was real, okay? It wasn't some watered-down societal bullshit. It was just life. But some people don't think so. And one person is a sensitivity writer of things, okay? And I hate sensitivity writers. But she is also part of the deaf community. She also has a child who is a Coda, child of a deaf adult. And I'm going to read a few things of what she said, and they're ridiculous. Oh, come on. It's so awkward to talk to an interpreter. That's when Jackie asked Ruby to interpret for her on the phone, calling her own mother Ruby's grandmother. Yeah, this is just so unrealistic for present day. Even if Jackie doesn't like talking via an interpreter, there's so many other ways to contact her mother directly: text, email. There's no indication that the family is so uncomfortable with English-based text communication. Jenna, you dumb bitch. Okay, first off, I said this. I said Jackie had a really strained relationship with her mother. I did. You can rewind. Now, this scene is done on purpose to show that strained relationship. It's just movie 101, bro. It's movie 101. For such a sensitivity writer who really gives a about movies or media or whatever, you're a idiot, okay? And you did say a lot of good stuff, Jenna. You really did, okay? Especially when it comes to the deaf community. I completely understand certain things, but this is just one of the next couple that I can't stand that you said. Oh, God. Ruby's attention getting is just so hearing. Are you kidding me? She's a teenage girl. She's a teenage girl, and I know what it's like to be a teenage boy, okay? I really do. I know all about attention getting. But you saying this, honestly, that's being prejudiced. That really is. That is just completely ignorant as that you think just because she's in a deaf family, she can't be a normal teenage girl trying to get attention and you, dumb. Oh, man, I just hate it. If I was blind, would you want to paint? This is not deaf. This is selfish. This scene is when Ruby's mom says, why do you want to sing? If I was blind, would you just want to paint? That's not selfish, you dumb. Yeah, Jackie is cold. Ruby's mom, she's cold. She was trying to understand because she doesn't understand Ruby. Okay? It has nothing to do with being deaf, man. It has to do with her mom. Her mom is a person. Just because she's deaf does not mean, oh, she's just deaf. You dumb. You're deaf. Shouldn't you understand sensitivity since you write it? Harsh? Ruby's parents and brother, they don't voice. Why does she talk like a deaf person? Is when she was bullied as a little kid for talking like a deaf person. Typically, that's because deaf people voice, and that's why the kids pick up. If they're not voicing at all, there's no reason she would have picked it up. Now, listen here, Jenna. Listen here, because you're really pissing me off. What if they used to voice, and Ruby was like, hey, can you guys just stop? I'm a little bit embarrassed or something. Huh? We don't know what Ruby said. We don't know why they're not voicing right now. It's clearly stated she was bullied for talking like a deaf person. That was when she was a kid. Last one by Jenna, okay? Family is so terrible and selfish. Just awful representation and upsetting as a deaf parent of a Coda. Like, do you not understand that deaf people can be assholes too? Now, I know that Jenna is deaf. Jenna Beacom is deaf, and I got nothing wrong to say about that, okay? Nothing. But if you're going to sit here with your ignorant ass and sit here and say that deaf people can't be assholes, look, anybody can be an asshole underneath the sun. Whether they're black, white, gay, straight, paraplegic, deaf, blind, it don't matter. So to sit here and say that it's a bad representation of the deaf community because these characters just happen to be assholes, stop reviewing sensitivity ass writing. Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. I hate bad reviews. I hate when these liberal ass think they can just bring in their sensitivity right in their selves and just change everything. Just put inclusion, just put society and what their beliefs are onto the America, into our society, into our movies, into our music. Okay, and she's part of the problem. She really is. I can't stand it. That's why movies suck now. That's why movies are so watered down and unoriginal. Speaking of original, I'm going to list my top 5 Hulu originals right now. And if you don't like them, I get that. But these are, as of right now, my favorite. And most of them are comedies. Number 1, Moon Boy. It's loosely based off of Chris O'Dowd's life. You might know him from the IT Crowd or a lot of Judd Apatow movies. It's about him and his Mick-ass self over in Ireland or Scotland or whatever he's from, going through life with his imaginary best friend as a little kid. I think it's great. It's witty. Definitely put it on the list. Number 2, The Binge. It's about society, drugs, and alcohol are illegal except for one day a year. It's hilarious as okay? It's great. They got musical numbers in there. I think it's awesome. If you've seen it, watch it again. If you haven't seen it, put it on the list. Number 3, Hot Wives of Las Vegas. Michael Keaton Key is in it. It's hilarious. Smoke a blunt, down a bottle of Jack, watch the just laugh your ass off. It is completely stupid, but it's a must-see. Number 4, Vacation Friends. John Cena, Lil Ray Howery. I think they did great. It's about 2 vacation friends or 2 vacation couples. They meet on vacation, and all hell breaks loose after that. And honestly, I can't tell much more because I don't want to ruin it. It is hilarious. It's not one of those PC comedies because I really hate those. So definitely put it on the list and enjoy it. Number 5, The Path. Aaron Paul and Mary Cox. They are both in this. Aaron Paul is looking for answers as he's living in this cult, and Mary Cox is just looking for comfort as an addict. I think it's great. I think it's really slow, but it's worth the watch. The story's nice, and the drama is deep. Now, that's my top 5 Hulu originals. I did Coda today, and that's all I have. Now, next episode, on Wednesday, I will be going over the top 5 news anchors who I hate, and that's not just liberals, okay? Those are conservatives, too.